All right, let's dive into a topic that you hear about everywhere, a topic that's surrounded by a ton of hype and maybe even more confusion: passive income. Today, we're going to cut through all that noise and get to the real story behind it.
So let's just start with the big one, right? The dream that gets everybody so interested in the first place. Is it actually possible to make money while you sleep? I mean, that's the whole idea, but what does it really take to make that happen?
To really get what passive income is, you first have to understand what it isn't. And the difference is actually pretty simple. With active income, it's a direct trade, your time for money. If you stop working, well, the money stops coming in. But with passive income, the whole equation changes. It's not about how many hours you clock in. It's about owning things, assets that do the work for you. So what exactly is an asset then? Well, the source material gives us a fantastic, super clear definition. It's basically anything that puts money into your pocket again and again with very little daily effort. And that word, daily, that's the key right there. This isn't about doing zero work ever. It's about changing when you do the work.
Okay, so that brings us to the practical side of things. If this all comes from assets, where do you even find them? Let's break down the three main engines that actually generate this kind of income.
First up, we've got the most traditional engine, investments. This is the classic make your money work for you scenario. We're talking about things like rental income from a property you own, or dividends from stocks, maybe interest from bonds. The idea is exactly the same across the board. You own these financial assets, they spit out a piece of their profits, and you get paid. It's about getting paid for what you own, not for what you do.
All right, our second engine is all about creating something of value yourself. We're talking about creative works. This is where you put in the effort to build something one time, like an online course, an ebook, or a piece of software. And that one thing can be sold over and over and over again. Yeah, the work up front might be huge, but a single digital product can bring in revenue for years with just a little bit of maintenance. And our third engine, this one's for all the entrepreneurs out there. It's the systemized business. For a lot of business owners, this is the ultimate goal: to create systems and processes and teams that are so good, the business basically runs itself. Once you hit that point, your income is coming from the profits, not from your own sweat and tears every single day. Okay, so we've covered the what and the where. Now for what might be the most important part of this whole explainer, the reality check. It's time to talk about the real effort involved and completely bust that myth of easy money. Building these income streams is definitely not magic. The source material is super clear about four essential ingredients you just can't skip. First, you need time, a lot of it, for that initial setup. Second, you need either capital, money to invest, or specialized knowledge to create something valuable. Third, and this is a big one, you need a ton of patience. And finally, you have to be committed to reinvestment to help that engine grow. And this timeline just illustrates that journey perfectly. Look, in the beginning, in that early stage, almost any passive income source feels incredibly active. You are grinding, you're putting in the hours, the money, the brain power. It's only after it matures, over time, that your direct effort starts to go down and it really turns into that beautiful passive flow. So, after hearing about all that upfront effort, you might be wondering, is it even worth it? Well, in this section, let's put it on the scales. We're going to weigh the payoffs against the perils and get a really balanced look at the amazing advantages and the very real risks. The upsides, man, they are incredibly powerful. First, you have scalability. Your income is no longer capped by the number of hours in a day. That opens the door for income diversification, which is so important for financial security. Over time, all this creates way more predictability in your finances and delivers the ultimate prize: freedom. Freedom of your time.
But, and this is a big but, you've got to look at the other side of that coin. The risks are real. It's so important to remember that no passive income stream is guaranteed to last forever. They can be vulnerable to big economic shifts or new technology that just changes the game. And honestly, people almost always underestimate the effort it takes to get started. And none of these are truly set it and forget it. They all need you to check in and do some maintenance.
So, this all brings us to our final and maybe most important point. Because success in this game is less about finding some secret trick and much more about adopting the right mindset. It's about seeing this as a continuous journey, not some finish line you cross one day. The source material we're analyzing just nails it with this one quote: "Passive income is not a fixed destination, but a process." If you remember one single thing from our time together today, please let it be this. Because at the end of the day, success isn't about finding a magic bullet. It's about the slow, the consistent, the patient process of building a portfolio of solid, diversified assets
things that are going to work for you for the long, long term. Which leaves us with one final, powerful question to think about. A question that can take this whole thing from theory to practice. Looking at your own skills, your own capital, your own knowledge. What assets can you start building today?